Ladies and gents, can you hear me? Yes, no. In the chat, let me know. Does the mic work? Does the mic work? All right.
The microphone here. John, can you hear me better now? Can you hear me? Yes, right? Microphone sounds better? Yes. By a lot? Yeah, this thing goes on and off. All right. So, welcome everybody. My name is Rodrigo. I'm going to be here with you, myself, Nick Shaheen, lead trader from the Options Inner Circle chat room. You already know this man. He's probably helped you a lot already. If not, you should definitely learn a thing or two here from Nick. Just wanted to come in, do a quick mic check, let you guys know what we will be doing. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes or so, and we will be reviewing trade ideas, setups, Nick Shaheen's strategy when it comes to credit put spreads, iron condors, butterflies, diagonals, verticals, the whole 9 yards. Put a 1 in the chat if you're only buying calls and puts. Put a 2 if you're doing spreads and condors, or you're trying to learn spreads, condors, butterflies, all that stuff. Let me take a quick look here. Couple 1s, couple 2s. Okay, so we have a mix of people. All right, that's good. Well, you need both to succeed, right? As in an options world, right? To be a complete options trader. So we will be talking about all these different setups. Davis is just learning. That's perfect. We're all learning. Learning never stops. You'll find that it's a lifelong process, right? It never stops. So, so yeah, basically we'll be going over trade ideas, setups, education, a lot of we're going to go over technicals as well, technical analysis. We will dive into some stocks from the chat at the end. But basically Nick is going to show us like how he's able to manage, right, his entire community and how he's able to profit from the volatility in the markets, right? So we'll be right back here, folks. In about 1 minute, we'll get this whole thing started. What's up, Alita, Angie, Becca? We'll be right back here. In 1 minute, we're going to get this thing started. All right. Okay. All right. Let's just get this thing going. All right. We got everybody pumped up in the chat. Mr. Zavo, Alita. We got to give a couple shout outs. Brian in the house. Always good to see that. Dan Roy, David, Glenn. What's going on, Glenn? Jack, J Rose, Josh, Jonathan Lopez, Marlene, Larry. What's going on, Larry? L Horvitz in the house. What's going on, sir? I recognize a couple people here. Yeah, Jay, Joshua, Can, Mike, Melissa, and Kendall. How are you? Marlena. We got a packed house today. We got Trigger in the house. What's going on? VJ, Yanides. All right, folks. Let me know in the chat when you're good to go, when you're ready to start. But basically, I'm going to give you a quick roundup of what's going to happen today. We're going to be here with Nick Shaheen, lead trader. He's been with Benzinga for about 11 years. He's been trading options for over 20 years. And he's helped like legit thousands of traders, thousands and thousands around the world. His live room is international. So there's people from all over the world. And today we have a couple of people. JD, what's going on, dude? We have people from all over the world today, right? Go ahead and give a shout out. Let us know. Nishina says hello from Hawaii. What's going on? Aloha. Bernice, Tizak. So yeah, basically trade ideas, education, setups, credit put spreads, iron condors, butterflies, calls and puts, technicals, market analysis, sector analysis. Nick is going to show you basically what's the deal, right? Yanidis, hello from Germany. Joni from Maryland, Colorado, Detroit in the house. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and bring on the man himself. All you guys already know who this is. Nick Shaheen. Let's go ahead and bring him on.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Found it on the street. Found it on the street.
In the Inner Circle chat room. That's where I found it. What's going on, dude?
Nothing, just trying to...
It's worth $97 million?
Yeah.
That's right. According...
What is that? Okay.
Some random thing there, man. But listen, we got Unique Farm saying hello from Nigeria. Shout out to all my Nigerian brothers out there. We got a huge following there, right, Nick? Georgia, Arizona, Illinois. So in the chat, okay, all right, that's great, folks. But listen, in the chat, give me a 1 if you've been here, if you've never been to this session, and give me a 2 in the chat if you have already been here, okay? Joni, what's up, Joni? Okay, ton of ones.
We have a lot of ones. I know some of my people are in here because I said to come and say hello if they wanted to. Where are my Canadians?
Sorry. Everybody let us know. The more we see, the better we'll adjust the session because we want everybody to be able to.
Yeah, we have a lot of ones. That's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're being for real though. I know these are real ones. Some of these names.
Yeah, some people are in twos and they say they're ones. Anyway, we will have fun either way. So if I remember correctly, today's session is more technical to see if we can morph it into how we can trade this market. Am I right or what?
Yeah. So here's the deal, right? We got about 400-500 people live now. We're gonna try to please everybody, guys. Understand this is not easy, but we're gonna go through some really interesting topics here from Nick Shaheen. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do, Nick. Really quick, I want to bring in the YouTube chat where we got a couple hundred people watching. Mohammed, Danielle, Morris, Doc is in the house. Good brother, Doc is in the house. You already know who that is.
Doc is always in the house.
Doc is great. Yeah, he's
amazing.
Yeah, Alicia, a member there. All right, Nick. So we definitely have a packed house. I know that you have a special session that you've planned for everybody.
Yeah. So what we did, I'm not part of the marketing team, but every once in a while they say, okay, so how can we help our viewers? So I said, how about doing something technical? Everybody's saying, oh, options this and options that. Yes, but a big part of options is timing. So you can be super smart about options. If you're not good with charts, you're going to not maximize your profits and you're going to leave yourself open to blind sides. So what can you do with charts? I'll tell you what we did today in the live room. So yesterday was pretty hideous, right? Because the price action did not unfold the way it should have. So the charts were fine, but the data and the options misled us. So it didn't work out. So today was a little bit apprehensive about that, but it played out great. So what did that allow us to do? It allowed us to set some trades in the live room that were winners and pretty challenging. There were a bunch of them. So let me walk you through the day. Everybody is apprehensive in the morning. We were down 1% or 0.9% before the market opened. So part of my service, which is not my service, just a small part of my service, listen to this, is me giving you 9 hours of my day. I'm here with this mic for 9 hours a day, sharing my screens like you will see in a little bit. Can I take the screen? That's
Yeah,
yes.
we're good to go here.
Okay, I'll take the screen.
Oh, really quick, Nick. I wanted to make a quick announcement here in the chat room. We added it today. I don't know if you see it.
I see lessons or classroom or something. Or what is that?
Let me check here. It was today. I know the developer told me they added it today, but basically, so there's 3 channels there, but basically the new one is called education, where you can post like dedicated education to kind of separate the trade ideas from the education. Because there's a ton of people that are there just learning paper trading as well, so
yeah, cool. So now you can see my screen. And so this is the SPX for today. Yes, this is 30 seconds. In fact, we watched it at 15 seconds most of the day. Why? Because it just gives us more data and we can beat the competition. Okay, so the idea is to be able to trade actively during the day using our smarts with charts and our smarts with options, or however else you trade. So like I said, every day I share my screen like this and talk without the video for about 9 hours. Today I started talking at 5:45 my time, which is about 45 minutes before the market opens. I'm in California. So we were ready to trade the day. We didn't have to trade anything. We just were ready to answer questions. Throughout the day, I must have answered at least a dozen questions that were longer than today. This is somebody that pops in and says, I have a job. I need something for 2 or 3 weeks. What can I do? So you have that resource. If you're part of my group, part of the inner circle chat, which is a static chat room, you can pop out and pop into my live trading room where I'm sharing and talking, and I'll answer you live. So today we had 350 people at the highs, 310, 315 at the lows, and we did pretty well. So when the market opened, everybody wanted to trade. So I said, okay, so keep in mind, yesterday the markets went crazy, but I also said, I think it's 97% of the time, we don't have 2 trend days back to back. So yesterday, the market opened and trended down all day. It's rare that repeats, either up or down the next day. So I said last night, we're probably going to even open up or down and then chop around that price action. So we opened down and we chopped. We fell and we rose above, and then we came back to close right around where we opened, a little bit lower. So the price action was solid. So at the open, they said, how can we trade it? I said, well, you can settle an iron condor around this. And if you did, you won. How much? 25%, 20%. I think they collected 90 cents per contract. And any account can do this if you can trade the SPX. It only requires about $410 worth of margin required. So if I had a $10,000 account and I open one contract of those, I only lock up $410. That's the worst case scenario. In this case, what did I need to win? I needed nothing. I needed price to stay in between. So that's just one thing you do if you know charts and if you know behavior, like that trend thing, and if you know options. And I shared the setup. One of these pictures was it. And then a little bit later, the price action developed. I developed more confidence. And then I went to the data tables of the options and I said, okay, there might be another trade. Believe it or not, I sold an iron condor inside this box. Look how tight that thing is. I said, we probably are going to close within $20. And we closed just at the bottom here. So you made money even if you didn't close it when I said to close it. I scalped $150 per contract and I only risked $250. So the huge reward to my risk. So I opted to leave money on the table. Somebody that didn't made more money than me, but that was good. I also said, okay, let's try something else. So I know we're going to bounce out of this malaise that happened yesterday because nothing new happened, right? It's just freak out. So I said, how can I catch this falling knife? and catch a burst higher. So we stopped and we had a lesson about butterflies. So you're going to ask, do I teach? We stopped everything and I said, let's do a lesson on butterflies. So I said, all right, let's do a butterfly. And one of these is a butterfly. Let me see if I can find it. This is it. So this here is not a trade alert for you. This is the discussion that happened today. Sometime in the lows of the day, I saw signs of stabilization. I said, okay, so if we burst higher, if I know in the next 2 or 3 days we're going to burst higher from this base, this is a sloppy approach, like a shotgun approach. It's not surgical. All I need to make money off of this one is just a move in that direction. And this is just a regular butterfly. So the charts told us that we could be stabilizing. I wanted to buy the dip from Netflix if it happened. It looks like it's not going to happen, but it happened before. We dropped 1.5% yesterday and we dropped 0.9 or 1% today. And that's when I opened this. So I said, I'm going to spend $660 to take this trade. And the idea is, if you can't see it, I'll make it bigger. I buy a call, I sell 2 calls above that, and I buy a call above that. And these should be like same distance from each other. Again, this is not a trade alert. Don't take that trade and run with it without knowing what it is. Some people make them smaller. I like them bigger. They cost more money, but they're easier to manage. And I'll prove it. Within half an hour, this delivered $110, $85 to $110 per contract. On top, this is on a base of 660. So that was a huge win in minutes. And I didn't need to be surgical. Why? Because we just got a push off the bottom and that delivered profits. So now I could have closed it. If I did 10, that would have been $1,100. If I did 1, that would have been $110. And I could have closed some and left some on. I chose February 2nd. I could have gone a little bit longer in time in hindsight. But this is one way that we pass our time. Quick lesson, quick trade setup. My money's on the line. I took that trade. And I said, I don't have a lot of longs. I said, if I was long already and suffering, no way I'm doing this, because I don't know anything new today that I didn't know yesterday. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that happens during the day. Again, everything I just mentioned happened inside the live room. The live room is not the chat room. The live room is completely bonus. This is where we spend all day, you and me and 300 other friends, finding trade setups fast in anything. Any ticker, nothing is off limits. So usually I have these windows open. Why? Because I'm monitoring the S&P, for example, and looking at elements of the S&P. Like today, Netflix wasn't so important. Amazon was pretty important. And most importantly, Microsoft was super important. Microsoft fell off a cliff first, stabilized first. So I said, hey, when these guys started to fall, Microsoft had already stabilized. So I said, let's look at Microsoft. And sure enough, boink, it came back. Look at all these arrows. There were none of these when the day opened. We had a setup here that didn't play out until later in the day. We had a couple of bear setups that played out perfectly, like right here. Here's a bullish setup that played out. This circle moved all day because this circle was tracking buyers and sellers, and I was explaining all of this on the fly and minute by minute. So this is what happens in the live room. The chat room, I'll show you what it looks like. I think this is it. This is the chat room. This one is open 24/7. Right now there are 135 users in it, and discussions go about anything all day. I post in here. Other people post in here. This is somebody new who's already contributing a lot. He knows things I don't track, so I'm now forced to track these things in order to speak his language. And let me see here. And then I have my own area where nobody can post here. This way, if you want my comments, they're in here. What are my comments? Before the market opens, I'll tell you what I think about the market. I'll give you a roadmap as to what I think is going to happen with lines, supports, and resistance values, and a blurb about what's going to happen. Usually it's about a 15-minute chart. I added noise to it, by the way. So this morning, my message, ignore these things because these are the ones I just posted. Here, let me see if I can take them out. Okay, so the message this morning was, we will get a bounce. The bounce will face sellers. Look at what happened. We bounced. and we're facing sellers. And then I said, beware of the orange line. So be aware that if we bounce wherever we end up and we come back and we lose the bounce levels, we are liable to go to the low 380s. That is still on the table. And then I share the support zones that are important. I share the resistance lines that are important. So I do this for the IWM as well and the QQQ, so the SPY, IWM, QQQ, the S&P futures, the ES, and the NASDAQ futures, the NQ. And I'll give you levels, support and resistance for all of these, and a blurb as to what to look for today.
Right. Nick, really quick, how important from 1 to 10 is it to know technicals for options traders?
It's very important, but here's the cool thing about it. If you don't know it and you belong in a group that knows it, all you have to do is say, ask, how does this trade look like? I get asked about a dozen times a day. Hey, Nick, what do you think of this credit put spread? What do you think of this credit call spread? What do you think about the straddle? Today, I answered 3 straddle questions, which I rarely do. Get them. The straddles are like somebody wanted to buy a straddle for Netflix. Listen to this. I said, okay, so they're pricing in plus or minus $28. So you're going to spend $2,800 to bet up or down, and you're going to lose money unless they move more than $2,800 in your favor. I said, and tomorrow at the bell, if you bought this week's contracts, about 30 to 40% of that value is going to go away. Both calls and puts are going to lose their premiums at the bell because the implied volatility for Netflix this week was 220. That's almost 4 times the going rate of a month from now. So if you bought a call or bought a put, you paid almost quadruple what you should have paid, only because of the earnings tonight. And that is gone. Tomorrow when the bell rings, they go down 30 to 40% at the bell. So the smarter thing to do would be to bet using calls or puts outside. And let me show you what we did. We did a lesson around it. So that's 2 lessons right away. And check this one. This lesson was like very complete. I made like comments about what the option said. The option said there's downside pressure, but not necessarily falling, and it's not that far below. I said it could dip to 300, but it will bounce back to somewhere around 308. Well, it dipped a little bit. It's like somebody leaked the earnings or something. Did you see the move with 30 seconds to go? It fell. Let me take this out of here. It was like in the 20s and it fell to 314. Oh, and by the way, I was short Netflix going into today, and I closed my short right here in the morning for about 35%. And other people were in that short. They said, why don't you leave runners? I said, because I don't want to risk money on the earnings. I don't know what's going on, so I don't want to do that. So I said to people who wanted to buy the straddle, what is the straddle? The straddle is when, I'll show you. This is a practice platform, Netflix. This is good. Lessons on the fly. All right, so let me show you something. Fire Marshal Bill. So this is this week's constellation. The implied volatility, it's this column right here. Let me get my annotation. Straddle lesson, yeah. So this is, it has 1 day on the clock. This expires tomorrow. This is Netflix. And this is today. So the stock after hours is up 7%. Currently, when the bell rang, they were down 3%. Okay. So down 3%. If you bought calls, you lost 40% today. So if you got stopped out, that's why it's important to know technicals. Somebody who bought puts made 30% from a 3% move. So it's very important to know charts, because if you don't know your way around charts, you're going to get blindsided a lot. All right. So they were pricing in almost $30 plus or minus from current price. And then, so to win, you would have to buy a call, a put and a call at the same price. So you're going to spend 14 and 14, $28. That's $2,800 for one contract of each side. How do you win? You need to move $28 this way or $28 that way to win. And tomorrow, these numbers are going to get hacked. Why? Because this number here, the implied volatility, is going to get hacked. By how much? Let me show you what the implied volatility is usually. I'm going to jump to like 29 days out, a month out. The implied volatility is 60, not even. So this is 220. Okay. The closer you get to this week, the higher it gets. So next week is 90. The week after that is 70. And the week after that is probably 65. There you go, 63. And the week after that that's probably the going rate. How do I know if I go to next year? 48.50. So they were all nervous about this week's. So for one day, they hyped up the prices 4 times. That's why it doesn't make sense to buy these. So how do I use that information? All right. So this is where the lesson comes in. All right, I'm going to show you 20 legs. And I said the suggestion was to do the following. If you wanted bet up, that was the first one I wrote up. Okay. If you wanted to bet up, this would be my preferred way of betting up. Wow. Looking at it, that looks like a perfect trade. Holy crap. That would have made so much money. I hope somebody took this. I really hope somebody took this tomorrow. Okay. So this one said, I'm not buying the call for tomorrow. That's tomorrow. I'm buying the call for February 3rd. And that was the $330 call. Let's go there. We'll go to February 3rd. $330 call. So this one, it was $1,200. Look, 70 implied volatility. So I'm buying it relatively cheap. And then I'm selling the one for tomorrow that's relatively expensive. So I chose to sell the 340 as an example. And this one collects me $550. So that would have been $600, $700 rounding. That's just one example. You could have done differently. So somebody that took this trade, tomorrow, this one will be a lot cheaper. So it may die for maximum gains. And then they'll be left long this one for cheap. They only paid $600 for it. So I don't know what it's worth tomorrow. Today, it's worth $1,200. Tomorrow, this one goes away. And they'll be left long this one. So at the open, they can close this for a good win if prices stay about where they are right now. So this is called a diagonal because I'm buying a 330 call and I'm selling a call that's different time and different levels, a 340 call. Now, I could have sold the 330 call as well, paid even less, but that's harder to manage. If they open above 330 tomorrow, that trade will be harder to manage and hard to make money with. The other one, because it's a diagonal, it's easy to make money with. Okay, so that was a lesson. I did the same example on puts for somebody that wanted to bet down. I did the same example on a calendar at 340. Right. So if somebody did this tomorrow, we'll also make money because they bought the 340 out in time and they sold the 340 for tomorrow. This one tomorrow will die like this. This one will die a lot slower. So this one will... So even if both calls lose money, the rate of loss on the one you sold is so much faster that this value will probably double tomorrow. So both calls lose money, but the one you sold will work for you faster than the one you bought. So your asset will hold up better value than your liability, which is the one you sold. Yeah, I used accounting terms. That's
interesting.
When you sell something, it's a liability. And you buy
Nick,
something, it's an asset.
So what do you, I know that you have a lot of members that work full-time, right? So
yep.
What's really, the best, the ideal thing for those folks that you have there that are not able to trade the tick to tick?
So they should trade like me. I don't do this. I'm not that active. I promise you. So the way I like to trade is I like to find something that's falling into either support or value or falling for the wrong reasons. For example, the other day, Microsoft got downgraded by somebody. I forgot what is it, Guggenheim. And they actually had a price level that was below current price, which was surprising. Usually the downgrades are stupid, wonky things. Oh, I'm downgraded from $1 million to $500,000. No, these guys were saying sell lower. So, and that was surprising. And Microsoft stock fell. I was hoping for a bigger fall. It didn't happen. But that would have been an example for me to say, okay, you're afraid of it. You want to sell it. I'll take it. I'll go long somehow. And usually I'll go long by selling a put spread below. Let me show you the perfect example. You're going to love it. It's Tesla. I've shared it last time. And this is a trade I did in real life. And check out how this happened. Okay, let's look up Tesla first of all. This is going to be fun. I must have a window for Tesla. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go to a weekly chart. Weeks ago, I warned about Tesla breaking down into a head and shoulders that could target this. It was still up here. I got eyebrows raised, but I said, listen, folks, this is what happened to AMD and Nvidia and the stock market in general. Once you lose a neckline that big on a weekly basis, unless you recapture that neckline right away, you're going to bleed lower until you get to a target that's going to blow people's minds. Well, in case of Tesla, it didn't bleed lower. It went lower quickly, and it got there. This process was a lot longer for AMD and Nvidia, or at least it seemed like it. Nevertheless, somewhere in here, when it had already priced in 3/4 of this arrow, somebody in my room, I can't remember who, and even if I did, I wouldn't say his name. It was a he, I remember that. He came in and said, what do you think about buying a May Tesla $60 put? I was like, now you want to short it out to May? I said, I tell you what, I'll sell you that put. And I went out and sold puts in May and in March for next year at $60. And this is what happened to them. I did it in my real account, and I did it in my paper trading account. In the paper trading account, they don't let me take full advantage. So on that day, when I sold that for $335, I actually got $355 in the real account. And here they won't let me sell the mark. They'll force me to sell the lowest price possible. And this is profits. So I made $200 per contract. I didn't even look at it after I opened it. And the one for March gained faster, made 160. I collected less, but it made faster. These are bigger values because I collected more. So this is the best way to do it. When everybody is upset with a company, you do your homework and you take your risk. You're saying, Nick, you're crazy to sell naked puts on Tesla. Okay, so let me ask you, how crazy is this? Let me show you what are the consequences. Another lesson. All right. So here's what it means to sell a put. By no means am I telling you to go out and sell naked puts, especially if you don't know how to do it. It's a big responsibility. Let me show you my responsibility, how it was for Tesla. So when I sell a put, I'm literally selling insurance to somebody. So when you have a car, it's an asset, it's got value, you want to insure and you're worried about it. What do? You go buy insurance. When you have shares, those are assets. You worried about them, you want to buy insurance. In this case, I sold somebody insurance at 60. And I said, by May, if you want to give me your shares at 60, I'm a buyer. I went out and sold the same in March, right? And this is the one that got me $360. And this is the one that got me whatever, $220. Okay. So what happens now? Let's say Tesla does, whoa, as Tesla's falling, these trades will show tremendous losses. They'll be red, 200%, 400%, but they're paper losses. If I really wanted to buy shares, I let them get there. I had that discussion with somebody today, not on Tesla, on something else, Amazon. So I may wake up one day owning Tesla shares at $60. And my break-even point would be $3.60 lower. So I'll break even almost 56-ish. That's my maximum risk. So one day I may start losing money if Tesla falls below $56. Start losing money. Nick, what about all these red marks from these? As soon as I get assigned shares, everything related to that trade disappears except the cash in my account. So the dollars I collected will stay. That's why my break-even point is below 60. That is the worst case scenario in that stock that I'm willing to live with. Where do I not do this strategy? In any stock I don't believe in. I would never do this in GME. I would never do this in crap stocks. I would never do this in the stock that's up here. I want to do this in a stock of quality that I believe in fundamentally, that I would not mind owning, that has come or approached a pivot zone, support zone, whatever you want to call it, to where it has the opportunity to stabilize. It was approaching a target of mine. It is of value. I know people don't believe it. People hate it because now they suddenly hate Elon. And that's great for me because I can separate emotions from reality. So here's the deal. You make money off of people's fear. You sell people insurance. You could have done that trade via bull put spread, credit put spread. Okay. So that is the scenario. And today the discussion happened, that same discussion happened with a member. I'll give you the benefit of that lesson too. I think it was Jacob. If you're here, hey, Jacob, I think you shared it in open, so I don't mind mentioning it here. So nothing embarrassing. So Jacob sold a put in Amazon at, I want to say 96. So he committed to buying shares at 96. And you're saying, oh my God, he's losing money. Well, he collected like $3. So his break even is 93. I have the wrong numbers. Anyway, let's go with 93. This is where he would break even. So price is below his put. So he's losing a lot of money on this put on paper. He said, should I close it or roll it? I said, in my hands, it expires next week. In my hands, I wouldn't. If I close it now, I'm going to suffer a tremendous loss on paper, an actual loss that is now on paper. Let's go through the scenario of me getting assigned Amazon shares. Let's say he woke up today and he owned Amazon shares today. Let's say that happened. He goes out and sells it at market value, which is 94 almost. His break even at 93, he made $1. Why? Because when he sold this, he collected $3. His break even point goes to here. He got assigned here, but price is here. So he still has that as profit. So there's no need to panic out of a red trade if you trust the company. Now, let's say next week happens and it's still here and he doesn't want to be assigned shares. Then you could roll it down and out. You can do that until you get out of the trade with no damage. I'm not a fan. I usually like to take the stock. I did this in Bito, believe it or not. I did this in Palantir. I do this in stocks I want to own. I did this in SoFi. SoFi was a big winner for us lastly. So that was a lesson. That was a specific example from today. I just don't remember if he sold the 97 and collected $3 or the 96 and collected $3. All I know is if he had been assigned today at current price, he would have been broken even, just about. So he felt better about the situation. I didn't tell him to sleep at the wheel. I just told him my scenario in his hand, his scenario in my hands. He's a grown-up. He can do his own decisions. Okay, so that's what happens all day. Again, all of this is gravy. Now, Hot Rod asked me, what if I don't trade this fast? I like to catch these falling knives, these situations. So what I usually do is once a day, I share a setup with some of my members. I have members that are not in the inner circle, so they don't get all of this I'm mentioning here, but they do get write-ups. And you guys in the inner circle will get to see all of those write-ups. So that means 4, maybe 5 at least, not at least, 4, maybe 5 a week write-ups that has time on the clock. For example, today I was interested in Domino's Pizza. So I shared a setup with a little bit of blurb why I'm doing it for Domino's that has, I don't know, 4 weeks on the clock, 3 or 4 weeks on the clock. So that is a slow moving trade that somebody that is not here, that works, that is a parent, that only has maybe 20 minutes or half an hour to look at something during the day, off hours. This is something you read in the evening. And if you like it, you take the trade in the morning. Most of them will remain available. On all of those dips of all of the mega caps, all the credit put spreads worked. So I'm catching falling knives. And I think the only trouble we had, there was a Disney trade that was an iron condor where the credit call spread got under fire in that Disney spike. So there was a loss there. But that happens. We're not perfect. Shorted CMI on the way up. Shorted XLE. Actually, I did an iron condor for us on XLE. So the trade setups have time on the clock. You don't have to be super active to get them done. So
what about
there's
the
a little bit of
Sunday?
everything for everyone. Go ahead, you were saying. Nothing? Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now, but you went dark.
Yeah, something with the mic. Yeah, so a couple folks are asking about the Sunday session that you do with the folks on like 150 reviews,
Yeah.
something like that.
Sure. So on Sunday, we got together and we reviewed about 150 stocks. Usually I put out a list like this. This list takes me 4 hours to do. This Sunday I ran out of time, but I still delivered the video. It was 2 videos to cover all the tickers. I think it was 120 to this weekend. So we went through and reviewed the stocks that you wanted. So these are stocks from members. So the members are the ones that drive the content of the Sunday webinars. It's free to all of the Inner Circle members, not everybody else. No one else gets in other than the Inner Circle people. So there you have the opportunity to either not do the homework and push it off to me, or do your homework and see if it agrees with mine. And we can come up with trade ideas there. So that's 2 hours on Sunday morning. We will get together on Sunday. Tomorrow I'll send out a form where you can submit your tickers. You can submit as many as you want, but keep in mind, I'm one person. I had a person submit over 80 tickers once. That was insane. And another like 72. So different person. That's ridiculous. You should not have a 72 a watch list with 72 tickers. No one can manage that many tickers. Okay, so the Sunday session, super handy if you don't want to do the homework, or if you want another person's homework. The live room, we have about a dozen, maybe 2 dozen now people that contribute all day. They contribute trade ideas, they contribute levels, they contribute strategies, they contribute charts and graphs and statistics, methodology. This week, I got introduced to Monte Carlo. No joke, a gambling tool that guesses closes. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. He gave us one good close 2 days ago and one bad close yesterday, but everybody had a bad close yesterday. Today, I didn't see a close. He gave me a wide range, which was kind of, I'll call him on it tomorrow. So he didn't guess wrong today. How about that? So we're open to different methodology, and that's what makes it good. You have 330 to 340 friends trying to help you out and get you not to make a mistake. So yeah, that's what happens on Sunday. And then on Sunday night, I do another video, which is super important. This week, it was Monday night because the markets were closed on Sunday. It was like 8 minutes long. And I laid out the entire thing. What am I going to do this week? What do I expect this week? And you want to hear what I said? And you tell me if that would have been valuable information. Watch this. You're not going to believe it. Oh, first of all, here's a trade today on the IWM. That delivered 100% in minutes. So I saw this setup. I said, you know what? The only time I've seen cheap options work out is on the IWM. I said, let's go buy 6 pennies for tomorrow's expirations. They more than doubled in minutes. So that played out. I'll take it out. But that's not what I'm sharing. 15 minutes this way. And yeah, 30 minutes.
All right, Nick, whenever you do have a moment, let me know. I'm getting a lot of questions for the live room.
Okay. We can pause here and you can do your thing and I'll read my note. Go ahead. No?
All right. Yeah, no, good stuff. All right, man. So again, folks, thanks a lot for sending these questions. Let's see. Does Nick Shaheen go over student trade ideas? Yes, this happens every day. Actually, a lot of the members ask Nick for custom strategies, like this is my account size, this is how much I'm trying to make a day. And, from there, you kind of work your structure, right? Your strategy. Next question. Are the sessions on Sundays recorded? Yes, they are recorded and they are posted in the live room. The chat room schedule. So the chat room schedule, the blue chat room, the static chat room is open 24/7. The live room is open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's where Nick is basically live streaming, just like you're seeing it right now. So it would be the same thing, right? It's only Nick there. Let's see, next question. Does Nick provide options education? Yes, he does have, I don't know if he showed it, but there is a Nick's private library of video education for options traders, like a getting started kit. What's a credit put spread? What's a call? Risk management. There's a lot of stuff there. right? And then there's also a new channel I'll show you guys later in the chat room for education. All right, good question. Next one we have here, does Nick provide strategies for beginners from A to Z? Yes. And last question there, Nick, you can take this one. How much capital is required to do the trades in the chat room? And I'll post the link in the chat, folks.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The question is, how much capital is required to do the trade?
Zero. Okay, here's the deal. If you're trying to learn something new, you should use no money for real. You should trade with paper trading. You can get them anywhere. I bet you this platform has some affiliation with somebody to do paper trading because you don't learn with real money. That is ridiculous. And once you're comfortable that you know the ins and outs of getting in and out of a trade and you understand the concept, you will start with one contract. One contract on the SPX, the way the trades I suggested today, literally risks but $400. If you take an iron condor and you collect 15 cents on either side, you're risking $400. That's it. You're making 100 and risking 400. That's 25% reward in 8 hours. Beat that. And what do you need to win? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Hey, wow. Thank you. I'm reading the comments. That's insane. Okay, so the how much money you need should be zero until you get your feet under you. This style of trading that I like, the bigger the account, the easier it is. But it is it can happen in any account size. When I write up a trade, I'm conscious of that. So my trades, like if I'm doing a credit put spread or a credit call spread, it's usually as thin as possible in width to require as little money as possible. And if somebody has a bigger account, they can modify the trade to suit their account, but with the same odds of success. Like, and I can risk $1 or I can risk $5, but the odds of success is the same. So a smaller account will not risk $5, they will risk $1 per contract. So that's the kind of idea. Are you done with those? Can I take it back?
Yeah, and just to kind of wrap it up then, so it's 5 to 10 daily trade alerts in the live room, 20 email trade alerts a month, 150 to 200 stock analysis on Sundays. That's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Times 4.
And basically, I mean, we're talking about ongoing mentorship, guidance, education, trading feedback, somebody that's there for you the entire day. So yeah, that's all part of it.
So I've seen a couple of messages, one from Jacqueline and one from Sergey, is it? I'll address those in a little bit. So I want to finish what I was saying. So Sunday night or Monday night in this case, I laid out my strategy and I'm going to clue you in on my prior strategy. Every week I have one, right? So 4 weeks ago, markets were falling out of control. I said, what we want is stabilization. Okay. So we've had rallies out of corrections. And what hasn't happened yet is the dip from the rally hold at least halfway into the rally and higher. That hasn't happened. That's why we keep making lower lows and lower highs since 2021 in October. We've been in that descending channel. I'll show you in a little bit. So this is an IWM small caps chart. Why am I harping on the small caps chart? This is 2,000 stocks that have nothing to do with mega caps. So when you have a hiccup in Japan, by the way, 2 days ago, there was a hiccup in Japanese bonds. Suddenly, 2 days later, we have a sell-off in mega caps here yesterday. They were selling off. I guarantee you, my hunch is that it's margin calls on whoever got screwed in that Japanese bond market debacle. About a month ago, the same thing happened. 2 days later, debacle in our mega caps. They're piggy banks. So anyway, back to the point. So 4 weeks ago, I said, we're looking for stabilization. That's all I want. The next week, we got it. The next week, okay, we look for more stabilization. Same as the week before that, we got it. The next week after that, we're looking for some improvement. We got some improvement, not a lot, but some. And then I said, we're looking for continuation, follow through. We got it. Last week, we had a pretty strong week. Okay, so before the week started, the message was, I had 8 minutes. The bottom line, I said, what am I looking for this week? Not stabilization, not follow through. I want to retain as much as the progress that we did as possible. That was my goal. I said, if we drop this much, which is the target of that red thing, would be a 3% drop in the small caps. This line was here Monday night. That would be normal price action. This here is the heart of two Fibonacci extensions, golden zones. There are buyers there. There's buyers below that as well. That's the stabilization we got. So we stabilized for 2 weeks, and then we rallied for a week and another week, and we're giving back. What hasn't happened in a year and a change is this continues and continues and continues, and we make a lower low. Now, if that happens, bad things can ensue, but that's not my forecast. That is the more likely forecast. Somewhere here, we're going to rebound. And if we take this out before we come down to here, that is a change that hasn't happened in over a year. You pay attention if we take this high. That's a change that hasn't happened in over a year. So let's look at the whole thing. So now we're doing strategy. 1 week. So this is the small caps. Same chart. I took out all the lines. The world was perfect. And then out of the blue, we make a new all-time high in everything. That was a bizarre thing because we started hearing about China closing for a month, the biggest country on the planet. And then COVID reaction, and then the overreaction. This was not normal. To recover all of COVID and then take out the highs is definitely not normal. Everything above here is a mistake. Why? Because we dumped trillions of dollars. So this was fake. And then we got to here. And since then, we've been descending in lower highs, lower lows. But for the last few weeks, we have been going sideways. That's the stabilization. What we need to do is we need to break this. That's the line I was just showing you. If we break this, we have one more line here and one more line here. So the way I see it happening best, come down to here, pop a little bit, come back to here, pop a little bit, come back to here. Notice what happened? A small ascending channel of buying dips rather than selling rallies, which is what has happened. That's my concentration. Stabilize, make progress, retain as much of the progress as you can so you can start building. Lower highs is fine. Higher lows is imperative. They meet, they go to blows, and then they resolve up or down. So if we lose this, we're going to here. That's a guarantee. But it doesn't make sense. Why would we be at the bottom of the time when the whole world was closed? It doesn't make sense. So that is the message on Monday night. We got to stabilization. We made progress. Let's hold most of that progress so we can come back and make more progress. But after a dip, you can't just be going up, up and away. All right, there are a couple of things. Yeah, by the way, this thing here, Lynn, this thing here, this thing you're seeing is what happens all day. You ask me a question about a chart, I'll go on forever. They tell me, shut up about it already, because that's what happens. So I had a pushback from Sergey. Sergey says, it's not a good idea to sell puts in this market because you're going to end up getting hurt. Okay, so let's take, I don't disagree that selling puts crazy left and right is dangerous in a market that could crash. Let me change the narrative. So what do you do, Sergey? If you're still here, post. Tell me, what do you do? Let's say Sergey buys shares, right? There's nothing safer than buying shares. Isn't that what everybody does? Oh, options are so risky. Buying shares is so much better. Okay, let's go with Tesla. Okay, one day. I told you I saw the debacle in Tesla. All right. So let's say right here. Check that. I'll take my own example. Somewhere here, I said I sold puts at $60. Let's say somebody bought Tesla at 140. So you and me are in a room. Sergey wants to buy shares in Tesla because he thinks that selling puts is super risky. So Sergey buys shares, okay? And he pays $140 per share, right? I want to go long Tesla. I don't want to buy shares. I want to sell puts. So I sold puts at $60 and collected $350. Okay, so I'm long, he's long. Let's the scenario, this happened, okay? Sergey is already down $40 on 140. What is that? 22% air math, 25%. So he's down already minus 25%. What am I down? Nothing. On paper, this position is red, red, red. Let's say Tesla goes down to here, okay, and goes down to 55. Okay, so he's down already from 140 to 55. That is a disaster if he didn't stop out. One day I wake up owning Tesla shares at 60. Okay, I break even at just above 55. So $3.50 below 60 is my break even point. So I would have lost this much versus Sergey lost from here to here. Tell me which one is safer. Yeah, this is safer. Now, hardly in this market, this hardly accomplishes any of those two. I don't know what two are. Anyway, I addressed your concern. Safety, this is safer than buying shares outright. And that's why you have stock replacement strategy. If I owned shares of Tesla and I was afraid about my shares, but I still wanted to be long Tesla, I would sell my shares, pocket the money, put it in the bank, sell a put lower, 20% below current price, buy a call out in time or a call spread. And if I buy a call, I'll sell a call against it in diagonal right away. I would have hardly any money out of pocket and I would be long Tesla. If I own 200 shares, I would sell one put and buy one call. Then I'm long 200 shares. If the stock rallies, I'm long. If the stock falls, I'm not long until 10%, 20% lower. So I would have avoided losing 20% of my money. Meanwhile, I'm still engaged with Tesla without owning shares. I'm synthetically long the shares by saying I'll buy some lower, and if it rallies, I hold the right to buy them here. That's it. That's the stock replacement strategy. Also a safer alternative than buying shares outright. So yes, options are dangerous if you don't know how to use them or if you're irresponsible by using them. But making a blatant statement that you don't sell puts in this environment, you don't sell puts willy-nilly, but if you want to own shares, that's how you sell puts, to own shares. I did it in Palantir. I did it in Bito, which is Bitcoin. By the way, who was long Bito at 10? We were. Who said crypto is coming down from 60 to 20 from October of 2021? We did. So I got us out of crypto in October 21, and I got back in throughout this dip. And I'm extremely profitable in crypto. And I keep saying the riskiest part of crypto is where you keep your money, not the price action. I'm pretty strong with the charts. I'm confident I won't be stuck in the high drawdown situation in crypto. For example, I'm long Solana at 11. It was up to 25, and that was in like 3 days. But I can't tell you I will have my money when I want it, because if my crypto.com goes bankrupt, all the money's gone. So I came up with an alternative for our team. So Bito, B-I-T-O. This tracks the futures of Bitcoin. We sold puts in Bito for weeks on end at 950, 975. I was never assigned. I was waiting to be assigned. I wanted to buy Bito in the 950. That means Bitcoin at its lows. I wouldn't mind owning some. And I said, I'm not selling all in. I'm selling a little bit. So I want to buy like 20% stake. So I would sell only the size of 20%. And then this happened. So if you bought Bito at 11, I also suggested you can just buy a call in Bito out in time at 11. Or actually, I did buy shares. So to eliminate time, buy shares in Bito. There it is, 13 up to 14 at one point almost. So I didn't close mine because I said the way I wanted to do it is accumulate over time. There's no reason why crypto couldn't have a super spike again. People hate it so much. The more people hate something, the more likely it's going to spike in their face because of emotions. People don't understand crypto. They tend to hate on it. And even worse, people hear smart people saying stupid things like Buffett. I love the guy. He's a god. But his statements about crypto are asinine. They are as bad as his statements about Apple before he started buying it. He was like anti-technology, including Apple, and then finally figured out, oh my God, Apple is great. So don't listen to these rich people. It's against like all the bankers. Crypto threatens the entire banking system. I've done business with crypto where I don't need to do anything with banks, and that scares people and governments. So It is there. It will be there. People love it. I'm not a super fan like crazy guy, but I certainly respect it. And I'm going to tell you one thing. You're going to deal with crypto, the process, in this lifetime. You're not going to get away from not having to deal with it. Money is going electronic. Whatever money you deal with is going electronic. And the governments are not going to reinvent the wheel. They're going to use the crypto technology right now in order to make their money happen electronically. Mark my words on this one. I don't know how fast it'll happen, but everything around me is going digital. There's no way cash is not going to go away. It's going digital. So BITO is another way to trade. Selling puts in BITO to own Bitcoin is great. And if you don't get assigned, you made money. I don't sell it here because it just rallied 40, 50%. You see, I don't set myself a failure, 40%. So if I have a 40% win on my hands, I'm not adding BITO here. I'm already long enough. My portfolio is happy on crypto and is happy on BITO. And the good thing about BITO is it eliminates the riskiest part of crypto trading, which is where do you put your money? You can buy BITO in any trading platform you have. So Schwab, Fidelity, I bet you they all have BITO. And this one tracks BTCF, the Bitcoin futures, which tracks the Bitcoin price. Right? Okay, so speaking of technicals, this is not an obvious entry point for a stock. Wait for a dip or wait for a breakout. But if you do jump the gun and get long here, make sure you don't go all in just in case you're wrong. And you don't, make sure you also put a stop loss if it's a trade, not an investment. What's up?
So Bitcoin didn't go. I thought it was going to go below 10,000. It didn't go there, unfortunately. But listen, we have an important announcement here to make. I'm just trying to make sure that I can pull up. Yeah, hold up 1 second. All right, I'm pulling it up. We got to give a big shout out here, of course, to let's see, Enoj. Welcome to the family here, the newest member. Let's go. So the quick thing here, right? As soon as you join, make sure you check your email, log into the chat room, and make sure that you're there. For all the people that are signing up before midnight and such, make sure that you're there in the morning because Nick starts the live room at about 8:30 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that I was seeing there, Nick, was that it's not just about, profitable trades. It's also about not making silly mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember
so I'll say that I'm trying to read your comments to gauge the level of intelligence here as far as investing. There's some pretty smart comments in there. So I'm going to tell you this. I bet you most of you here are not notoriously bad pickers. So you pick the right stocks. At least for me, it feels like when I make a mistake, when I get blindsided, it's not because I picked a bad stock. It's because of timing or bad luck. Like I'm either a little bit early, a little bit late, or just sheer bad luck of timing. So if we can eliminate those or reduce those, for example, I just said a comment here. This is not an obvious entry point. As much as I like Bitcoin, it's not an obvious entry point. So I zoomed in. This is the 2-hour chart of Bitcoin. Now we're talking about Bitcoin. I'm not giving you advice. I'm telling you how comments that we do every day could help you stop making a mistake. I'm trying to remember of a question today of somebody said, yesterday, I know somebody said they wanted to sell a credit put spread. I'm hoping I would remember the ticker because it's visually not the right thing to do. They wanted to chase long and they wanted to sell a put spread to chase long. I said, no, that's not for me. I can't remember the ticker. It's not Caterpillar, something along those lines. Maybe biotech even. Anyway, so this here, if you come to me, as much as I've been tooting the horn of Bitcoin, this is not an obvious entry. So how do you deal with this? Let's say you're interested in Bitcoin. What do you do with this chart? What do you do? Where do you enter? So here's technicals. I just drew a box because of this candle here and this candle here. These are pretty sharp candles. These are 2-hour candles. For in the span of 2 hours, they opened here. They hated it. They loved it. And they didn't know. And they opened here and they closed right here. So they closed about where they opened. The 2 hours before that, they loved it to high heaven. And then they hated it and they closed here. So those are pretty binary line. I mean, sharp looking lines. So I put a box. So how do I treat this? I wait. If I buy Bito here or short it, I'm making a guess that it's going to do this or that. I don't know. So I wait. I have a clue here. I have a clue there. So I wait to dip down to here and see what happens. If the bulls win that one, I can get long somewhere here. If the bears win that one, I can get long somewhere here. So, or I'll wait for the breakout and I don't buy here. That's what people make mistakes. You buy here, you're going to be late. By the time you get filled, half the rally is done. So almost every breakout I see ends up doing this to test the neckline from which they broke. So you see the break, you see the breakout, wait for the dip and buy it on the dip. To buy a call or to buy shares, you'll get better bids and better fills when the stock is going down. And then you go like this. So that's the way to deal with Bito. You wait to see the battles between these two. If you buy here, you're making an assumption that the bulls are going to win, where you have no reason to believe that, especially that I showed you that if you look left on the chart, this is where it has had a failure before. You never buy a stock when it comes back into a massive accident scene. That's where everybody that's stuck here will say, thank you. You take the loss off my hands. I'm going home. Yeah, that's not good. Wait for it to dip. So you've heard Fibonacci. He's not full of it, you know. Here's a Fibonacci extension somewhere around here. And I'm being a little bit sloppy with it. So let it come back to at least not halfway. This is halfway to here. Look, this is a significant level. Let it come back to 19.2. That is definitely a significant level. Whoops.
Look at this poll really quick. Just wanted to share it with you. Over 80% of the people here are trading alone. Do you think it's good to trade alone by yourself?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade alone. I would never trade alone again. We talked about it today in the live room. I said there's no need. So I was teaching everybody all that I know, and I said in the back of my head, I said it out loud. Okay, so this is at the risk of me teaching you my tricks, at the risk of you knowing everything and leaving. And then I said to myself, but I wouldn't trade alone. They said, no way, we're going to leave. We don't want to trade alone. So even if you don't like my group, find a group that, because in a group, you will do better decisions. You will stop yourself from making mistakes. Like if I said, let me trade this, and if I do Japan, no, they have something going on. So it is, the camaraderie is worth a lot of money. I didn't have this option when I was starting. So I had to learn by trial and error. And I can't tell you how many mistakes I've made. So every mistake I would call it, okay, this is a lesson, that's tuition on this, that's tuition on that. And I passed my examples to others. Just today, I said, okay, if somebody bought calls on Netflix, I gave them away how to book their options after hours. You can't physically do that, but there are tricks that you can use to do that. So if you want, I'll share it with you. And of course, I don't want you to go do it until you know what you're doing. So let's say another lesson. How many lessons we did here today? Okay. So let's say Netflix was here, whatever, and you bought a call at 3:30. And it spikes to up here, and you say, gosh dang it, I wish the market was open, I want to book my call. Well, what you do is you can sell 100 shares short, naked, for every call you own. Let's say you only have one, you sell 100 shares of naked calls in Netflix. The platform should allow you to do that because you own the right to buy it at 3:30. They don't care if you're getting out of your position at 3:44. They know you can buy it at 3:30. So what happens? Let's say tomorrow it opens here. So you shorted Netflix here, 346. Now it's 337. You got $9 of profit per one share, per 100 shares. That's you made bank on this trade. What do? You close it. How do you close it? You buy it back if you want to keep the position, and you still own your call. So you locked your profits. Let's say Netflix opens up here. Then you limited your upside by how much? From here to here. Who's going to complain about that? That's how you can lock your profits after hours on the spike.
Right. So the daily iron condor that is posted about 10 a.m., something like that. So we have, let's see, we got Doc in the house. Yes, that is true, Doc. Absolutely. The setup is the key. So Nick, as an example, let's say for all the folks here that joined here, what should they be expecting tomorrow in the chat room? What's a day in the chat room like? Just walk us through it.
We chat in the morning. I start talking just before the market opens. If there's something specific, somebody talking, some report, whatever, we'll talk about that. I'll ask if somebody forgot to read the morning notes. I'll make them feel bad about it. And once the market opens, I usually, in the first few minutes, I hesitate to do that, but I share an iron condor that is based purely on deltas. So this would be the statistical advantage. That's it. I don't have anything based on the chart, nothing based on the data within the tables, just based on the odds of success of that iron condor. And those are usually the ones with the highest implied volatility because the day just started. You've got 8 hours, whatever, how many hours. They had the whole day, the most number of minutes of trading. And then within an hour or two, once I see clarity from the data within the table, because I can read the data in the table on the SPY, for example, and kind of give you an idea where the close is going to be. We nailed it today. I was off by a little bit, but we nailed it. And hours ahead of time. So if you can do that and you know how to do iron condors, that's guaranteed money every day. Yesterday was not guaranteed money, but normally every day is guaranteed money. So I share another set of iron condors. I showed you that already. If you missed it, rewind the tape. So throughout the day, we have entries and exits for non-iron condor buyers and sellers. So for example, we can go here. Who did I steal here? This one is IWM. So the setup here all day was there in the S&P. We had arrows up and down. I deleted them now. That guided people. Okay, you can get long here, you can get short here. And usually we're looking at 15 seconds or 30-second charts. So look at this price action. Where was it? Okay, I erased him, dag nabbit. So anyway, we were here somewhere and we rallied to here. So I drew this box and I said, we're going to come down into this box before the close. And that's why I put the bell there. And I kind of drew my guess at how it would unfold. This was my guess before it unfolded. So I guessed the proper price action, but they took it just a notch higher. Look at it, how it matches. So it doesn't matter. The goal was to bring down the SPX to here. And look at 8:40 a.m. my time. So not even 2 hours into the day. There was pressure to bring price into this box, and it played out all day. The SPY was at 387.9, so we were here. 840, let me see where that is. 840, right there. Here, somewhere here, I drew that box. I said, there's upside pressure to get into that box. So look what happened. And then somebody comes in and says, your iron condor is under pressure, right? I told her, yes, but I'm still green on it. And the pressure was still there. And look at how it played out. Perfect price action. We freaking nailed it. You cannot get better than this on a violent day. So that's a lot of confidence in our abilities. And every once in a while, it doesn't work. But if you stop yourself from taking maximum loss, those times it doesn't work, they're not a big deal. This was my box to close way early. Anyway, so that's what happens all day. Do I like UNH at today's levels? Let's look at UNH. How did I trade UNH? Did I short it? No. I think I did a credit put spread on UNH. I did a trade that worked out. I don't remember what it was. Okay, so here's the deal with UNH. Uh-oh. We just discussed this. I don't know the company, so that part is on you. I don't have time to study it. I know it's nothing wrong with it. This was a level that they lost. arguably the target of that level was somewhere down here. They never recovered it. And now they're losing another level where the target is even lower. And I can't tell you it's going to here, but it's likely that it finishes this arrow that I have had there for probably a couple of weeks. I thought they would bounce, and they did. And they came back down like that red thing said. But now the problem is, see that arrow? It says that they're selling rallies. So rallies are going to be sold. Rallies are going to be sold. Rallies are going to be sold until they hit the level of support. And this is a support zone for me from a long time ago. So I would not be surprised to see it below 470. So I wouldn't want to short it for that. But if I'm looking to get into it long, I would need to make sure that I can survive that. So I would not buy calls. Calls are going to go into selling zones. You see all these lines? Look how they're selling these lines religiously. So I don't want to do that. Here's another thing. If you have TradingView, try to start using this guy. I told you today is about technicals. This is an anchored VWAP. Just throw it out there at a level that makes sense. Look how the machines respect it. So imagine this coming up and this coming down. They're going to be selling this. And how strong is this? I don't know. So this is potentially doable. So I don't want to buy calls. And if I want to buy calls, if I'm dying to buy calls, you better put a stop on it. Like if you risk $1,000, you better make sure that you determine an amount that you don't want to lose more of that portion. So you put in 1,000, you say, okay, I don't want to lose more than 200 or 300. That amount is based on you. If I was forced to get long this company, I would sell a put spread. I want to say I did a put spread on it. Do I not have lines on it? How is that possible? I usually put boxes. Did I short it? Okay. Anyway, so it's not an obvious entry point. That would be my answer, because I fear that there are sellers here hiding. All right, next. How do I use the volume profile in my analysis? The volume profile is very important. Let's use it right here, right now. So thank you for that question. This here is a volume profile. This tells me that this area is heavily contested. So any rallies into this area is going to be met with a lot of resistance. It tells me here that there's a gap in volume. So if they lose this area, there's not a lot of transactions, so it's easy to fall through it. It's like slippery. And then you hit the heaviest point of volume. So if you were to catch a falling knife anywhere below 420, you did solid. That is the heaviest volume for that period of time, from 2001 until now. So that's how I would use that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, really quick here. Thomas is asking, so the chat rooms do have push notifications. So whenever Nick will post in the blue chat room, as long as you have the Benzinga app downloaded on your phone and you're logged in with your credentials, you will get a push notification as well for that. Good question, Thomas.
Yeah. I'm blown away by the level of commitment from the people in the room. A lot of people are doing this full time. Some people aspire to do it full time. Others pop in and out as often as they can. It's a joy to do it. So some people have a job. So my son is 21, and when he was like 12 or 13, I was trying to give him advice. I said, find yourself a job or a career that pays your bill comfortably, that you adore. I love this. I freaking love it. And I think it comes out. I'm super into it. I wake up at 3:50 or 3:45 or whatever, but I don't care. I'm like, I gotta wake up. Who cares? Let's go. I love this all day. I love teaching. It's all about teaching, and I share the setups. So if you come to me and say, what is your record? you didn't listen to any word I said today. It's not about a trade alert service. Okay. You don't just think about coaching. Okay. If you are a basketball player, do you ask your coach how good he was at scoring? Or do you see a coach that can teach you to be as good as you can be, not as good as he or she can be? Who cares what my record is? I share my trades. You will know my record once you see it. Most of my credit put spreads work out. I remember having October, we had 1 week where everything fell at the same time, and I had 3 trades expiring that same week. They needed to be rolled. Amazon was one of them. Then if you roll them once, you got out of trouble. And we never looked at it again. If you didn't roll Amazon and you got assigned the shares, the next day you made money because it went up. Who is in the room with you if you're sick? I don't know what that means. So the live room is super hot and friendly. The chat room is a nice place that you can pop in any time of day. The live room is open during the day when the market is open. Today I had to cut it short. I usually hang out after the market closes when there are earnings. Like next week, we will hang out like for 20 minutes, half an hour. Who is alerting if I'm not trading? Oh, you mean who covers my ass when I'm not there? I have a few people I can, I've had Doc is one of the guys that most often steps up to the plate. Okay, don't worry about that. I didn't take vacation. I take a couple of days off a month in order to travel, but the room is always open. So I like that. That means you're joining. Slow shrink. 2. There was a slow shrink 1. Come on in. You'll have fun. Listen, you can't describe it. It's a ton of fun. People are willing to help. There's some camaraderie, a lot of camaraderie. There's some what is that, competition? A couple of people in there, they get on each other's nerves because they're competitive. They both post all of their trades. I'm buying puts here. I'm selling my puts here. I'm booking half. I'm leaving runners. I'm buying calls here. I'm buying calls for next week. Check out this breakout in some chat room somewhere. So they're both super good, and they both are in competition with each other to do better.
Right.
And I'm like, you're both doing awesome. Just respect each other. And they do. So it's a lot of fun competition.
The cool thing there also, Nick, is that you have people that have because I know some people share dark pool data. People share, I guess, resources, right, that they have.
Yeah.
Again, these are hundreds of people. But I remember, Nick, when you and I launched this chat room, it was just you and me. Now there's over 350 plus people. And, you know, it definitely is a game changer having somebody there with you, right? And
yep. So check out this. I took snapshots. So this is Brian today. This is today after the market closed. We only had 200 people in there. I learned a ton today, Nick. Seemed like class all day long. That's all I've got to say. Listen to Brian. I learned a lot today, a ton. It seemed like class all day long. I didn't pay Brian to say this, I promise. Let's see another one. Let's get these out of here. Just wanted to thank you. What was that? Oh, Ed. So Ed is one of the guys, he's telling me about his trades. So Ed had a problem with a credit put spread that he's in Apple. Remember when Apple fell off a cliff and went into the 20s, 120 something recently? So he had a credit put spread, which I did too. I lost money on that trade. And he rolled it. I chose to close it and take the loss. He rolled it and rolled it and rolled it. And today he booked it. Yesterday, he booked it for 12 cents a contract. So he got out for slight greens after struggling with it. That was pretty good. I think slight greens. Just closed the Iron Condor for 45% of profit. Hector, when was that? The 17th. So he left money on the table. This is part of the teaching. Leave money on the table. Not every trade has to go to 100% win. In fact, if you close halfway, you will win more per day. When is this? The 13th. Val, hi Nick, I watch all your videos. Any other big issues? Asking for more. I'm trying to 4 successful trades so far. Brand new, 4 successful trades. Asking for more videos. That was on the 13th. On the 12th, MK bought SPX calls at 22, out at 27. If you don't know how much that is, that's $450 per contract in 5 minutes. I don't know how many contracts he did. I don't know if it's a he or a she. I think it's a he. That's MK. What is this? That is January 3rd. After your tips from Friday and today, I can now sign up for a lifetime subscription after those 2 trades. That's Jake. 3rd. And this is from November. First day, Nick, Bird Dog. Made my membership already today, just watching the way you read your charts. Pretty cool. And so it is. That is, I went back in time to November to tell you that it's not just recently. Can I buy options on futures? I'm glad you asked that, because there was somebody else that mentioned, I forgot her name. I think it was a her. The size of the account is not all of it, because you have PDT rules. So if you have a smaller account, you're sometimes bound to how many trades you can do a day. Well, let me tell you how you can get around that. If you use the options on the futures, you're not bound by those rules. They're slightly different. They're less risk and less profit, but you can trade and get around the PDT rule. Yes, you can buy options on the futures. You can sell them as well. All right. What else can we do?
I think we can do a little bit of rapid fire here, maybe.
Let's go. Hit me.
All right. So this is the deal. All right. Folks in the chat room. Throw in, we're going to be limited, obviously, but, you know, throw in 1 chat room per person. I'm sorry. one ticker symbol, right? 1 stock per person. Nick is going to do a fast, quick review just so that he can get warmed up. So in the chat on Zoom and YouTube. All right. So we got Lavin with TSM.
Okay. I'll do TSM, Tesla, and Enphase, and CrowdStrike and Nvidia. Stop. Before I go, tomorrow's options, the SPX, maybe it's too late now. It has 2 contracts. One settles in the open and one is PM settled. Hopefully you picked the right contract. Okay, TSM was first. Okay, what am I going to say? Any of my members? This is a THTH. What is THTH? Can anybody guess? Okay, THTH is, it's too high to chase and too hot to short. You missed it. It is not a place to enter. This is not an this, if you get long here, you're setting yourself up for potentially an easy mistake. Forget it. Enphase. I said that about Enphase up here. Everybody loved Enphase up here. When I went long Enphase, it was down here. So they said, do I get long Enphase here? No, because that's the neckline you lost and you haven't recovered it. And look at that. Wow, what happened to Enphase today? What was the score? Whoa, headline. That doesn't sound like bad news. Anyway, this is coming. That was my target. Solid consolidation zone. So I would go long Enphase down in this zone. So today, I would be selling puts in Enphase down here. I know the company. They have excellent products. So if you believe in the fundamentals and you want to own shares at 170, I would confidently sell puts into 170. I wouldn't go all in and collect premiums from those fearing that. You're selling them insurance. And the worst case scenario, you buy a stock you like at a huge discount. So it just had a 10% drop. And you can probably collect more premium, leaving a 20% buffer. All right. Tesla was one. You already know what I would do with Tesla, credit put spreads. And I believe those 113. Anyway, I would do a credit put spread on Tesla. I sold naked puts. Now, the concern with Tesla is what happens with the rallies. What the bulls need to do is not give up too much progress, like the IWM. And they need to go out, and before taking this out, take this out. Then this is the fight. You're probably going to come to here. rinse and repeat at every one of these candles. You want to beat these moving averages. Sellers are lurking in here. They want to continue selling that. The target is lower. Believe it or not, the target is like below 80. Why? Because you left a gap back there. You don't appreciate how crazy Tesla got there. Let's walk through it. World was fine pre-pandemic. And then Tesla went 170% whatever out of nowhere into a pandemic when China, its biggest client, shutting down. Then it fell, and then it recovered, and then it went whatever 500%. Look at it; you can't even see it. That is insane. At this level, it's probably still 40% higher than the pandemic start, and probably 140% higher than the normal level before that. So Tesla has a lot of room to give. Look at these gaps down here. You can't build a castle on top of a cheese, Swiss cheese. If it goes down to here, it would be fine. And then everybody would hate it. And then I would get long in a big way and retire again. Okay. So let me tell you the good news about Tesla. Financially, it is as solid as can be as a car company. There's no other car company that even comes close. Now, I've said these comments, and I had somebody push back on me with jargon I didn't understand. Now, do your own due diligence. And this is my simplistic way of approaching this incredible company turnaround story. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I hated it because it needed to borrow to exist. Okay? Something happened. Around the time where he got caught, he got filmed smoking pot on the podcast. He had a $900 million bond coming due, and he didn't have enough money to pay. And then he was forced into admitting something or whatever, and somehow his P&L magically transformed. And let me tell you the portion that transformed that blew my mind. So this company now generates $11 billion in cash from its own operations. So it does not need to borrow money to exist. Look at these. Quarter 3, $5 billion. Quarter 2, $2 billion. So that is unbelievable. Now, looking at the total revenue and how much money they keep at the gross level. So the gross profit, this gross profit is bigger than GM, is bigger than Ford, and they have twice as many sales. So these guys keep more gross profit than GM and Ford, and Ford and GM have twice as much sales. When I made these comments, somebody gave me a dissertation on my video, which I totally appreciate the feedback, how I am so wrong and idiotic about it, but they said it civilly. And I just don't see how am I wrong. This is 1 + 1. Sales minus cost of goods equals gross profit. How can I be wrong about that fact? But they had a whole journal about how I am wrong and how this company sucks. So I said, then short it. He goes, it's going below 50. I was like, okay, short it. I knew it was going down to 100 or lower, but not because of fundamentals, because of the charts. And that would be an entry. He looked at it like it's a time to short when it hit the bottom. I looked at it like it's time to get long. So to pay for Twitter, that's funny. This is a healthy company. I would buy the dip in this company. Now, I have to tell you that I don't think EVs are the future. There's no mathematical way we can make this work. I don't understand how people are not going and say, you guys are lying. Somebody is lying, because all car manufacturers said they're going to be non-fossil fuel. I don't think they said EV. They said non-fossil fuel. So they have a loophole in there somewhere to where they're going to do a hybrid of sorts, because we don't have enough batteries to support 110 million new vehicles a year. That's how much we produce right now. And right now it's like maybe 10 million of those are EVs, and Tesla has the bulk of them. So that can't continue. We cannot have enough landfill to bury all those batteries, nor do we have the resources to produce those batteries. How much resources is it going to take to dig up all this stuff that goes into batteries? It's going to be worse than digging for oil, to be honest. Yeah. We are not going to be able to do the EV thing without new technology. Solid state batteries on cars are not working. That's why you don't invest in QS. All right, what was the other ticker?
I don't remember. Enphase,
Enphase we did, Tesla we did, TSM
SMH,
we did,
UNH,
Palantir and something
Adobe.
else. I'll do Palantir now and it'll come to me. Nvidia and Crowd. Yes, thank you. Wow, you guys are good. Woo! Okay, I like Palantir. I think it's misunderstood. I think people hate the guy, and they're blinded by the and they sell it for the wrong reasons. And when they do, I buy it. So far I'm greenish, even though I didn't nail it. I bought shares 20%. I sold puts, never got assigned. Sold puts, never got assigned. Sold the put spread, never got assigned. So now, given all of that, I'm a whole overall. So I'm okay waiting. I didn't add. I would add. I think this is a company that's going places. The growth is pretty good. Oh, it's losing government business. Who cares? So they sell apples, they sell oranges. They're selling fewer apples now, more oranges now, way more oranges than they're losing apples. So who cares? Okay, not an issue. Nvidia. So Nvidia, I warned us out of it months ago. I said it's going down to here or here. I said this was my target and this was the official target of the Head and Shoulders. Look how close it came to my target. And I said it up here. People were blown. I said, if it doesn't come back to 215 or 220, it's coming back down. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be probably 2 digits. It came almost to 2 digits. That's the same scenario in Apple. So having said that, now it recovered. Okay. And look at what's brewing now, folks. Everybody's scaring you into expecting a market crash. Where the hell is that coming from? Let's talk about that. Okay. So this is a technical event today. Check this out. What is this called? Let me see. What is this called? Tick, 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 tick. Imagine Nvidia takes this out and these two out. Nvidia is going to here. What did you just say? Yep. Nvidia will be over 220 if they can just beat this high they did here. That's it. So that's what I'm doing. I will buy the next dip if it happens. This is either a Head and Shoulders or a complex Head and Shoulders. Complex Head and Shoulders have 2 shoulders on each side. So if it gets here and fails and comes back here, ooh boy, boink. Okay, I don't want it to go back up here. It doesn't belong up here. All of this is garbage. That's garbage up here from the pandemic and fake money from the government. That is not good. This is the high. And then the breakout will be to here, and then that's months and months and months down the road. This is an inverse Head and Shoulders, which is bullish, but it doesn't matter what you call it. It's a neckline, a point of failure that is no longer a point of failure. That means the bears have given it all they can and they're done. So that doesn't mean you go buy calls in Nvidia. It means you buy dips in Nvidia and you find a good entry point. You see that? Now I switched to a lower time frame stock. I mean, the same stock, lower time frame. So there's a dip. There should be buyers here and buyers here. So I will say, get long. I like credit put spreads, but and I will leave room for error. You lose this one, you make more headway. And I will do here. Long. I'm doing homework. That's what I do. I set alerts and I wait. Okay. Now let's talk macro. People are scaring you into expecting a disaster. Oh, we're going to have a recession. Okay. They also say, which they haven't said recently, that stock market prices in 6 months in advance. How long have we been talking about the recession? Has it been 6 months? Yes. How far down did the stock market fall from the high? 30%, 28 to 30%. That's a recession and a correction on top of it in Wall Street talk. So a recession economically is different than a recession in stocks. A recession in stock is defined by a 20% drop. A recession in the economy is bullshit. It's just words. Okay. Now, how can we have a recession when we are at full employment? Everybody that wants a job has a job. And when companies are still reporting okay, and when the Fed is trying to control the level of spending in the economy. We're spending too much. We have too many people employed, and we're spending too much. People complain about inflation, but we're still spending like fools. Amazon van is all over the place. Okay. So I will tell you that we have a problem in the economy when I hear Amazon tell me they lost 20% in their sales. As long as Amazon doesn't tell me that, all the reports from the government are bullshit. Don't believe them. I'm not anti-government, but I'm not an idiot either. You give me 1 + 1 and you tell me equals 3, I'm going to flip you off and never listen to you again. These job numbers, they say we made 1.4 million new jobs and the GDP is negative or trying to get negative. How does that work? It doesn't work like that. Something is wrong. Anyway, so ignore the math from the government. Go by what you know. Look around you. How many people are spending this? How many people are spending that? It's very simple logic for me. Amazon represents the level of spending in the US, and consumer spending is about 2/3 of the economy. Yeah, you can repeat that as many times as you want. I read that headline 6 months ago. Amazon is firing 10,000 people. Amazon employs 1.2 million people. It has the right to fire 10,000. I bet you anything, if you go down to Amazon right now, you can get a job. Right now. You go to Amazon right now, you can get hired. Right now. I guarantee it. And if you don't, I'll hire you for a month. So it's incredible. People read the headline. Yes, and if you want to get hired at Microsoft, I bet you they have an opening you can take. These are headlines that the media will feed you in order to propagate the narrative and blind you as to what really goes on. It takes logic. Look around you. You know how much you're making. You know how much Amazon is making because they tell us that every 3 months. And the wheels have not fallen off a cliff yet. When Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Tesla tell me sales are off a cliff, then I will worry. I'm not going to read the government's data and tell me, oh, the GDP. And by the way, nobody's talking about 2 things. Number one, the recession gets announced not by having 2 negative quarters back to back. That used to be the old rule. That's one of the factors, and there's a bureau that decides that. So here's the thing. So they say, let's say they didn't change the rule and it's 2 back-to-back negative quarters. Guess what? We just had a positive quarter. So that clicks the clock back to 6 months, right? You need 2 quarters. So if we get a GDP update that's positive, boop, we get an extra month on the 6 months. Now it's 7 months. So they cannot announce a recession earlier than 6 months or 7 months from now. They cannot. So it's not happening. It doesn't matter what it's called. Just go about your business, buy companies. So it doesn't make sense. So let's go to Amazon. So here's the deal. Why I'm harping on this, because it drives everybody's decisions. Everybody's expecting a disaster. It may come, but not from the headlines we have now. It will come from something else. When Amazon tells me they lost 20% of their sales, I'll be scared. Check out the statistics on Amazon. So this is a company that sells at less than 2 times its sales. So the price relative to the sales is two years. So if you buy a share now, you're giving them credit for only 2 years worth of sales. You're saying, whoa, that's too much. Okay. Apple is probably 4 times that. And you're saying, but the PE is 100. Who cares about the PE? They spend all the money because they spend every penny they have to grow. This is a company who used to sell books and now owns the internet. They literally owns the internet. So they spent every dime they made to get to this point. That's how they got here. When they stop growing, then you can call them on profitability. You say, hey, where's the profitability? But as they're growing, you don't look at the PE. The PE measures profitability. The price to sales measures the reasonable price of that stock based on the sales growth. Okay? So it is very important to keep track of that number. At one point, Tesla's price to sales was 25. And now it's very reasonable. Last time I checked, I haven't checked in months. Let me double check now. It must be like maybe single digits. Oh my God, price to sales is 6. on Tesla. Look how high it was: 21, 18, 18, 22, 20, 11, 12, 6. It's never been cheaper. Tesla has never been cheaper. Let's go on a yearly before I say never. Okay, so 7.6 in 2015, 4, 4, 2, it was cheaper. 3, 24, 22, 6. So in the last, since the pandemic, this is as cheap as it's been. That's pretty good. So anyway, use logic, ignore the noise, turn off the news. I promise you, the politicians, the CNBC, Bloomberg, they don't have your best interests in mind. They want your eyeballs in order to make money off your ads. That's it. They will make up shit when there's nothing going on. If there's nothing going on, they will make up stuff. For example, who cares about the Fed minutes? The Fed the meeting happened 3 weeks prior. We know what they said. They actually said whatever the decision was. The guy spoke for an hour. We asked him questions in the question and answer session. We have had 20 what do you call those, speeches after that. And then the Fed minutes come out and everybody's glued to the TV. The all-important Fed minutes. What the fudge are you going to learn from those minutes that haven't been divulged from the last 3 weeks? It is bizarre. These are the actual minutes from 3 weeks ago. And they have you glued around the TV waiting for the all-important Fed minutes. Turn the frickin' TV off and don't watch the news for business purposes. That's it. So the idea of listening to CNBC to get trade idea, you will get at best mediocrity, at best. And don't try to follow Buffett either, because you're not a whale. Buffett doesn't buy stocks. He buys companies to put them in his balance sheet, in his cash flow statement. He doesn't buy to make, like when he was buying whatever that company was, Oxy, he's buying it to engulf it and put it on his books, not to make money off the stock price. Okay. All right. Rant over. I feel so much better.
That was good. That was good. No cursing that time. Really proud, man. That jar must be packed.
Anyway,
So-
I'm not anti-government, but I have a brain, and the message of late has been, for example, the simplest.
You cannot trust them, man. They've been lying for, well, I don't know if it's lying.
It's not that they're lying. This is a government, not the sides. Everybody in the government, both sides are guilty. They're letting it happen. The government right now, the US is killing itself on purpose, business-wise, on purpose. That's the job of Powell, is to create job destruction. Why? Because there's a shortage of things, so things are expensive. He can't make new things, so he makes it so that fewer people can afford those things. If there's 10 trucks and 100 people want to buy it, he can't make new trucks. So he wants to make sure that there's only 50 people that want to buy it, by causing the other people either worry about their job or actually lose their job or stop them from finding a job. So he creates less demand so that the balance between supply and demand gets better and the inflation gets better. It is absolutely criminal that's the way they want to handle it, especially when they create it in the first place. People can't create inflation. Only government creates inflation, because they're the ones that print money. We can only just spend it. And the fact that their policy now is to destroy the economy on purpose, all in the name of controlling inflation. Let it burn off. You created it. Let it burn off. You don't know inflation. My mother lives in Lebanon. There you have inflation and other problems. What the US is doing here is destroying countries abroad as well, because of the dollar play. Now it's getting a little bit better, but it's just wreaking havoc everywhere. It's just, the policy is very destructive. Nevertheless, this doesn't mean lower stock prices. Just follow the trails that the companies tell you. I know truth. The truth is in the P&L. When Amazon reports its sales, they can't lie. When Google reports its sales, it's black and white. Let's see what comes out. You see, there you go, Trigger. You see the Netflix report. I didn't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's not bad, right? So if Amazon says the same story, Meta says the same story. That's the first time I say Meta, not Facebook. Wow, I'm growing up. And Google reports the same story. Apple not falling off a cliff, then where is this concern that everybody is whipped up about? Facebook. Yeah, I don't use it, so I don't know what it's all about. So I went into an Apple store to buy a phone. Not for me. I don't use Apple. There were, what was it? Not the number, 160 people I quickly counted in the store. About 30 of them were employees. I was blown away. It was just recently. It was not like a holiday or anything. It was random day, Wednesday or Thursday. Made an appointment to come pick it up. I bought it online. I needed an appointment to come pick it up. That's how busy they were. And I had to wait for like 10 minutes. Oh, crowd. Yes. So CrowdStrike, I went long for the group via credit put spread when it fell off a cliff, and it worked out. So I forget what they do. Cybersecurity. I'm not a fan of cybersecurity, and I believe recently they got hit by some downgrade somewhere, but somebody didn't like their prospects, maybe them or FireEye or something. So here's what I see here on the big picture, and then I have to go. I'm super hungry. We have stabilization. We have progress. We had a drop from the progress. As long as we hold this area, I'm okay starting longs here. You should know that there are sellers hiding here and here and here. Okay, so there are sellers just above here. There are buyers just below here. So if you take a long, don't go all in, and be patient. Don't buy calls that expire in 2 days. Sell a put spread, and buy a call spread is the cheapest, least amount of pocket way to go. Selling a put spread is it's also called a bull put spread. Leaves room for error. Buying a call spread captures upside potential. And usually I like to go just above current price, because I don't want to guess how high it goes. I want to make money as soon as it starts going. And this one, I sell it like I collect maybe 60 or 70 cents per contract. Nothing much, just to get me some money in to pay for the debit call spreads. So this would be my approach here. But you have to know that it's not like prone to headlines or anything. And you need to know when the earnings are coming up. So don't sell a put spread into here. It's okay to own a call spread into here. Let's go shorter time frame. 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, you see how now it looks a little bit more bearish? This looks like a neckline that needs to hold. So if they lose this value here, they might come down to 94 or 95. So be patient. There are sellers here. Until they clear 102, I'm not very comfortable. All right, that's it. We did it.
All right. So,
And
folks,
sorry if I pissed off a few people. AMD is basically like Nvidia, whatever I said about Nvidia.
it's all right, man. Okay, so I'm going to show so Nick is going to give us some closing remarks, and I'm going to show you guys the live room where Nick is posting trade ideas, setups, market commentary, education videos. I'll show you some of the stuff for all the people that did join. Nick, any closing remarks here before we move on here and start showing them the live room where you're pretty much, the whole day?
Closing remarks is be your own self in trading. Have confidence. Don't fear challenging what everybody's telling you. It's crazy. So don't be afraid to challenge the narrative. And I'm not telling you to be rebellious, but use your own brains. We have all the knowledge we need. And all you need to do is just a little bit of homework. And if you don't know how to do the homework yourself, go out and get together with friends. Come into my room and you can ask 300 friends all day, every day, what they thought about something. And you will get an honest opinion from 300 people. We don't discuss politics. I don't say these things I said here in the live room to a degree. I do to a degree, but not like this. We don't discuss religion, and we don't talk about viruses. So those are sensitive subjects that always lead to some sort of a reaction from somebody. So the effort is super honest, and the goal is education, and the method is maybe we can earn while we learn. So simple as that. It doesn't get more honest than this. As far as cost benefit, I dare you to find a better deal anywhere. In fact, I dare you to find that will give you 9 hours of their day sharing my screen and talking like this. So I've been here at this chair since 4 in the morning. It is now 10 to 4 p.m. So the effort is there, trust me. And the knowledge is there. And I'm growing my knowledge base from you. And you're going to go do yours from me as well.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
All right, Nick Shaheen, lead trader. We'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. Thanks a lot for being here, man. All the commitment, all the time that you put into your live room. People love it. You can see it everywhere, man.
This has got to be the funnest session we've ever had.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great, man. There's a ton of stuff.
I don't know why it feels like it. I had the most fun today.
Yeah, it was definitely a special session, man. And thanks a lot for being here. I know you put a lot of time into this.
I did cuss a couple of times, so I got to ring the cowbell because I cussed a couple of times. Sorry.
All right, man. It's all good. All right, someone give the man a glass of water. No, we'll give him water.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here.
All right. So, all right, see you there. See you later, Nick. And folks, that's Nick Shaheen. I mean, I told you guys he's the real deal. He knows his stuff about options. For everybody that just joined, I want to show you how the chat room works because we did add a couple of new things, actually today even, but very recently we do have push notifications on the chat room. So as an example, you know, let me zoom down. This trade update, this other trade right here, the IWM, S&P, and also all of these would be coming to your phone as push notifications. Very important that once you do join, you find the blue chat room, of course, click on chat on the left, right? You will have access to all of these are the 20 email trade alerts a month you get, and they're going to be right here, but you'll get them by by email. You can sign up for text, but you'll also get them by push notification, which is something,
traders,
hold up. All right. So once you join, make sure you look at this session. It's posted very early in the morning. That's about Nick's time, I think. And this link right here is where you want to go. Live session. You join that free conference call. It's basically like a Zoom. Aqua, I'm going to put the link here for you. Hold up. Sergi, good to see you. Okay, so right here is where you're going to go to join the live session. That's where Nick is basically webinar style the entire day. You have all the indexes charted out, SPY, Qs, IWM, futures as well. I know that some people were asking about futures. You have access to that. So all of these push notification trades, setups, you will get on your phone, right? You just have to download the app. You can private message Nick. A lot of people don't know this, and I don't know why, but this is a great feature. If you have a friend in the chat room, you can actually look him up here. As an example, there's Doc. If I want to look up Doc, which is a great, great member there, it's right there. You can private message him, and you start your conversation right there. So you can do that even with Mr. Nick Shaheen. Right. So this chat room has a lot of great features. Again, this is proprietary. There's not some cheap Discord, nothing like that. And really quick on the structure of this, Nick's important messages, right? This is where Nick will post trade ideas, setups, education, the live session. This is it, right? If you have this chat room open, you can set up sound notifications. You see these bells are yellow. They will make a pop basically whenever whenever there's a post there, right? And you can pick which chat room. If you have this on your phone, it'll still make that noise again, right? The link is in the chat there, my friend. Mr. Larry, good to see you, Larry. The inner circle chat is where everybody's posting, right? Everybody's posting there. So we got Doc in the house. What's going on, dude? This is where we chat and post charts and ideas. That is correct. Doc always on point with that. And you can see that Nick is also posting his stuff here, but this is like, the water cooler talk, right? We talk about trades, data, right? Everybody's sharing their information, right? Everybody's sharing things that they have access to, regardless of what it is. There's thousands of things out there, right? But as a group, as a community, we all use it together. There's 117 people online right now. What time is it? What is it, like 7? Yeah, it's basically 7. There's 117 people. This is worldwide. These are people from all over the world. We have people from Finland, from Nigeria, Australia, Canada, Brazil, from all over the world, Hawaii, You've seen it. It's a bunch of people from all over the world that are like-minded traders, like-minded individuals that are serious about making money, serious about education. So inner circle chat is where everybody's talking, posting, having a great time. If you go there, if you see Doc, just know that he's a great member. He loves helping other people as well. And then this new channel right here, okay, for all the members that are watching as well, and the people that are just joining, this channel was created today. Let me actually give a shout out there to my brother, Mr. Vin. So Vin is one of the coders, developers of the chat room. I asked him if he could do this. I think it would help the chat room. And, you know, right away, Vin delivered. Big shout out. So everybody give a shout out to Vin. He's actually hooking up the chat rooms. He's the coder, developer behind the scenes, making all this stuff happen. Basically, this education chat room, okay? This is where Nick is going to be posting only education material, right? Because the inner circle chat is a broad conversation. There's a lot of things happening in there, right? Trades, discussions. How you doing? Hey, I'm having toast for breakfast. I'm selling these puts. I'm buying this. There's so much out there, right? And for people that are starting out, education is prime, right? It's the most important thing you want to see. So Nick will basically be posting education content material here so that you have access to that. Give the chat room a little bit more structure. Inessa saying, could you show alerts? Can you show trading room? This is the trading room. What you're seeing right now is the trading room. These are the channels. Now, the live session is not open because we're not, you know, it's open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. But this is where you, that is basically where you would join the live session, okay? Give me 1 minute, 1 second, folks, hold up. All right, so that's the live session. Jay Santana from Venezuela is in the house. Let's go. Let's go, man. Good to see you. We have people, again, from all over the world that are, you know, not only watching this, but are part of the chat room. So that is the chat, right? As you can see here, Doc, I looked up Doc here on the search bar. Again, I told you this is a great feature. I don't know if you guys are using it, but you can find your friends here. You can find your classmates. You can find, you know, all that stuff here. You can talk to them and you can have like a private direct message conversation here, like Doc. So yeah, that's great that you have access to that. Make sure that you know how to use all this stuff. And let me show you some of the videos here. Okay, Jerry, before I show you the videos, Jerry has some questions. What exactly is Nick providing? So you get 20 email trade alerts a month, number one. In the live room, you get about 5 to 10 daily trade recommendations. Okay, those can be anywhere from short-term to medium-term trading, and that's going to be daily. That chat room is open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Sunday session is a totally separate thing, but we pretty much threw it in for you guys, if you know, for like a special on the seminar, basically. So you have 150 taker review every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then the ongoing coaching and mentoring. That's why you have these private boxes, direct messages that you can communicate with Nick. I found Nick, I sent him a private conversation example, just to show you guys that you can actually do this, right? Okay, you can have a private conversation there where you can talk about strategies, get feedback, talk about your own account. Like, hey, Nick, this is my account size. This is what I'm trying to do. That way, you know realistically what can happen, right? You can't come in with a $10,000 account thinking you're going to make $1 million a day. So very important to really get that direct communication channel with your instructor, right? With Nick Shaheen. So let's watch one video here. I think I showed this, but this is the getting started section of Nick Shaheen, where you have basic education. What's a call? What's a put? What's a credit put spread? Iron condor, butterflies, diagonals, risk management, when to book or set a stop loss, when and how to book profits. This is risk management. I think everybody should watch these two videos. And then what type of trade is best, how to pick what type of trade to buy. These are very, very important videos. to watch. I think you should watch them. Don't trade if you're new without watching them. And let's watch some of the videos here from Nick now. All right, let's see what we can find. So this is from yesterday. Okay. This video is from yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Becca says, this is what I need. What do you mean, Becca? The getting started videos, these? Okay. Yeah, I mean, Becca, I watched them and they were a complete game changer, because many times for options traders, you know, you watch a video here, you watch a little YouTube video there. It's all incomplete information. It's all gaps, full of gaps of important information on how to execute the trade and all that stuff. So Nick pretty much sums it up in those videos. TWV, the link is there for you in the chat. All right, so these videos are important. They have spread, credit put spreads, all that stuff. We went over that. I was going to look for a video here. All right. Yeah, send me an email, Bizavo. Send over an email. Mr. Horvitz, I'll talk to you soon, brother. Good to see you. All right, let's go ahead and watch this video then from Nick. All right, folks, let's take a look.
Hey traders,
It's from yesterday.
Midweek checkup on the price action. There is some confusion today, even from people who know what they're doing. So I figured I'd give us a touching base in the middle of the week to update on the video I did Monday night before the market opened this week. So just to remind you what the concept was for this week, that we've had stabilization from 3 weeks ago. It happened 2 weeks in a row. Then 2 weeks ago, we had a small rally. Then last week, we had a big rally. So we stabilized and we made progress. And Monday night's goal for this week, my goal that I suggested we should have for this week, was to drop, but hold on to as much of that progress as possible. That was the goal. Hold on to as much as that progress as possible. Keep that in mind as I continue here. So what happened today? We opened up and then we fought for it for a little bit. We had mixed markets for a little bit. The small caps tried to hold on, and then everything gave up. We're looking at the SPX. And the sell-off was not violent, but it was persistent. It was like complete selling off. People attributed it to Powell. I disagree. Rates fell hard today, like you don't see often. If you look at all the rates, they fell hard. The price of bonds rallied. That's not usually fear of Fed hikes. Maybe it's something else, political realm that I don't keep up with. Regardless, let's ignore the news and focus on the price action to see if we can use that to forecast where we're going to find support. All right, so again, it's Wednesday. The market's closed down 1.5%, give or take. The VIX rallied 5%, so it's not an explosion, but it was way too low, and I told you that. All right, so the day was bad. How bad was it? Let's look left. It's falling into, it's just above a gap from the 11th. And that zone is the middle of that zone. And so this is hardly tough. This has been consolidated. It's been fought over. Extremely happy, extremely unsatisfied, extremely happy, and then way too happy. And then here we are back to this weak point. There's nothing recent to help the bulls find stabilization. They lost every support level. This will be one. This whole zone is one. Okay, so we just rallied 7% in the SPX with no rest. I think the IWM was more like 11. So we can afford a few red ticks. Let me show you something sobering. This is the daily chart. This one red tick. We had that stabilization. We had the progress. The goal was to maintain as much of that progress as possible. We've had one giant red tick compared to a nice rally. This is normal so far. We definitely don't want to lose this, but that's 2 conversations away from here. Okay, so let me show you the picture from the small caps, which you probably recognize. I'll put my drawings on there to see if you can recognize it. This was there this Monday night before the week started. My goal again was, we've made so much progress. This was 11% rally. We can afford to give back some. This technical target could be 180, and there would be a 3% drop, maybe a little bit more from the high, and that would be normal. It wouldn't even be half of what we rallied. It would just be the fact that we ran into some pretty significant levels from far back, and it's okay to stumble, come back down. They have been buying dips. Look, every dip has been bought in an ascending channel. Let's assume that this continues and not panic from one day. So this was one day that brought us back to some sort of, look at this mess here. So this should be primary support tomorrow. If we come down to here, we should be able to find footing. And if we do, let me go to a daily here. Does it get too messy with the lines? Okay, so check this out. This is the daily chart on the IWM. Had we not stopped here today, the IWM, a basket of 2,000 stocks, would be in breakout. That's not normal. Why should we break out now? We don't have any fewer problems as we did before. I heard some nonsense today that some people are expecting that the Fed should stop. Are we deaf? The guy has been saying for 2 months, I'm going to be raising for a long time, just at a slower pace. I think he said longer, farther, or something like higher and longer. So he's going to continue raising for a long time. That's what he literally said. And this market keeps imagining he's saying something different. It's like that movie Dumb and Dumber. It's funny. Anyway, so the IWM above here would have had open air, and that's just not normal. The normal thing to do is to drop. However much you hold of it, the better. You come back and you take out these levels. And if you do, you're going to end up taking this out eventually, because the measured move off of this breakout is higher than this. So if they do this, they come back, they break out from here, they stumble here, they come back, and they can test how strong is the bear here. And if the bear loses this, it's game over for the sellers. The bulls have bottomed after a year and change. Somebody asked me, is this the end of, are we in a bull market now? That was in the morning. I bet you they would not have asked me that if they waited 3 hours. Are we in a bull market now? I don't even know how to answer that. Technically, I think what is it? Minus 20% is a, I don't know what Wall Street calls it. 10% is a correction. We have fallen from top to bottom more than 20%, almost 30%. Some indices definitely fell 30%. So we've regained a lot of it. So maybe we're just bottoming in a trough, which is what we should do. Basket of 2,000 stocks. Let's go to weekly. So COVID recovered, went to the moon like crazy fools, and then we corrected for a year. We went sideways for a few months, part of that year. And now maybe we're bottoming. So these are the lines we were just talking about, these right there. You can see on a weekly basis. Had we continued straight up today, we would have been in open air. Deal with this. If we take this out, I doubt this will hold. And then this is a bigger problem to deal with. So this is normal price action. Now, here's the big warning, which I've been carrying for a long time. I'm optimistic without a new shoe to drop. But I'm also confident that the media can manufacture these experts. It's a rigged game to a degree. So they can do whatever the hell they want because we're idiots. The proverbial we. We're sheep. We hear it, oh my God, it must be true. And then if for whatever reason, regardless of the headline, good or bad, if we lose this, expect disasters. Like I would expect a big drop from there. Maybe another 15%. And then Apple will be 2 digits, most likely. So I'm just letting you know that that scenario exists. I'm not blind. I know it's there. But if we don't have a new shoe to drop, if they don't make up a new problem, if they don't create a new mess somewhere in the world on purpose or not, these politicians are incredibly not nice. Well, that could happen. My assumption is if the earnings reports next week come out tame, like if Amazon doesn't tell me that their sales are done, if Amazon tells me their sales are down 20-30%, yeah, buckle up, it's gonna get bumpy. But if Amazon and Google and Microsoft and Walmart keep telling me the same story, okay, it's less hot than before, but it's not a disaster yet, then I'm still confident that Powell has not broken the economy yet. He's damaged it here and there. He's caused a few problems for a certain set of segments of the economy, but he hasn't demolished it. Okay, so this is just a midweek update. There's a lot of confusion, and hopefully you've had time to watch it. Some people choose not to. I think I use it. It's a tool that everybody should be ready for the what's coming up or the scenarios that are available. This is one tick. It could be more serious, but until I see more evidence of that, I'll just treat it as, okay, we're falling into support. So let's look for that support tomorrow. That's it. So this is the IWM. Target 1 is here, target 2 is here. And if we come here, I think we can stabilize, come back and take this out.
All right, everybody. So that's Nick Shaheen. That was a video he did yesterday. And something I do appreciate is how open and how honest and genuine Nick is, right? In a world where like he says, you know, the media is always trying to make you feel a certain way. As traders, we have to think with our pockets as well, because we're trading this, right? It's important information. So we're not looking at this for the views. We really just want to make sure that we're making the right decision as traders, right? No, Shelia, send me a quick email. But yeah, that's really one of the things that people do love and appreciate about Nick, just his openness to really talk about the reality of how we can trade this, right? And sometimes, you know, that's why he says turn off the news, right? That was one of the videos that he does. This is not the video that he does every Sunday, right? But for those that are like, let's say if you have a full-time job or anything, you have all the recordings here, right? And you'll get push notifications with the trades, so you won't be missing out on any other stuff, right? So if you're a new trader, don't worry. We have your back here. We have people like Doc, great people there in the Inner Circle chat that can help you, including obviously the instructor, right? Nick Shaheen. And for those that are a little bit more advanced, remember that, you know, you want to take this as like a career. That's what it is, right? This is not a casino. This is not a gamble spot. We have serious people that are trying to make serious income in the live room, right? It's a workplace. That's what it is. So don't follow the crowd. Make sure that you're able to really trade with the community, right? Don't just do what everybody else is doing, but also learn all these different types of trades like credit put spreads, condors, butterflies, with an instructor, somebody that can help you hold your hand. And even if you're advanced, you can always get some amazing feedback from Nick, right? Education is like a lifelong process. So you really kind of want to have that mentality, right? That openness. And if anybody, let's see, Celia, it doesn't come with it, but send me an email. I might be able to do something for you. Okay, before we do wrap this up, does anybody have any other questions on the live room, on Nick Shaheen, on the strategy, anything? I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes, but basically, yes, make sure that you do this. You got to invest in yourself. That's the best investment you can do, right? And don't trade alone. Don't vacuum trade. You'll fall into emotional trading, social media. You'll just fall there. It's just unfortunate, but you know, when you do things alone, there's a much higher risk that you'll mess up. And if you're new, like even more, right? Like it's not 2020. Stocks are not going up forever. We don't have a limited QE. We live in a different world right now. It's a different market environment completely. And it's not a time for you to try to wing it. It's just, you know, 2020 was different. Everybody made money, but now things are different and they're probably going to be like that for a while, right? So learn, earn, instead of, you know, learning by blowing up your account. It's happened to me too. I've blown up my account twice when I started trading and I was doing it alone. And there was obviously no sort of chat room like this. There was no legit chat room of you, actually. You know, there's always been these pump and dump chat rooms, but there really wasn't a legit chat room. Joshua, I put the link for you in there. That really kind of covered traders in and out like this, right? Where you can be with somebody the entire day, of course, courtesy of Nick Shaheen. And I remember last year, I think it was April, when I launched this chat room with Nick. It was just me and him, and we slowly started getting people into the chat room. We've had some, you know, I think it's been like a year and more than a year and a half for sure. And now there's over 350 or more traders that go there every day to pretty much do their thing trading, right? Be part of the community. and there are relationships that are being built there. Doc is a great person that helps other people. If anybody needs life insurance, Doc is your guy. But yeah, there's great people there. I know a lot of the people that are in the chat room because many of them have signed up with me or through any of these sessions. And these are great people. These are people that love to learn, that are serious about making income. That's why when you come to the chat room, look, we have fun and all that stuff, but this is a workplace, right? This is a workplace where people come to make money. That's just what it is, right? So we continue to improve the chat room. We have push notifications available. Now you have this new channel where Nick will post education and you get push notifications on all this stuff. The trade alerts that we were talking about. There's a nice dashboard here. Again, this is another new thing that they put out. This kind of shows you around like where you can find all the stuff. All right, let's close this now. And all right, you have a little trading chart there as well with the trade setups, the agenda. It's very important so that you know what's going on, right? You have some guidance, economic numbers, consumer confidence, GDP sales, core PCE prices. You have GDP prices quarter over quarter, GDP price index, core durable goods order. This is going to be important. Retail inventories, ex auto, real consumer spending, new home sales. I don't know if anybody trades real estate here or financials. This is going to be a number you might want to look at. Okay. Casey, I know that's Kansas City, Fed manufacturing index. So there's a lot of numbers, a lot of important dates that you do want to be able to know and work and trade around. That's why you have that agenda. Then you have this, why is it moving? This is a whole department that basically is scanning the markets, okay? There's somebody called Randy. So I need everybody to give Randy a shout out, okay? Because Randy is out there every day from the early morning scouting stocks, right? So if a stock is moving for a specific type of news, he will basically flag that stock. And you might see this in other places, but this is Benzinga data. The source is Benzinga. As you know, we're a data company, we're a news company that does a lot of things, but we're focused on helping retail traders succeed. That's Silesh. The coupon code is already applied on the checkout. So you don't have to worry about that. It's already applied. But basically, yes, that is the focus. But Zynga is made for retail traders. That's our focus here, helping you guys succeed. I personally don't care if the market goes up or down as long as you're making money. So, and that's, you have to be that way in the markets. But that's really why we teach you guys how to be successful in bull markets, bear markets, choppy markets, Fed-driven markets, inflation markets, whatever's going on out there, we have strategies for you, right? Even if you have a full-time job or not. So again, shout out for Randy. All these stocks are basically flagged like manually, right? Where we can identify a piece of news that is driving the price action in that stock. Trade news, this is another great feature that you guys are getting. Again, you're not paying for any of this stuff. We just threw it in there as an updated dashboard, right? So the people that have been here with me for about 2 years, they already know this is like great progress. Top gainers, top losers. So you'll have all this information here, folks, all right? This is where you can check the trade ideas that you get by email. In the chat, it's a totally separate conversation, all right? Inner circle chat where everybody's posting, and then Nick's important messages. So let me post that for you, Silesh. The email's there if you have questions. Let me make sure that everybody's good here. Doc, I want to thank you for being such a great member with all these other folks. I do want to give a shout out here. We got another new family member. All right, come on, guys. This shout out is going to be for Silesh. All right, new member, new family member. Welcome. Let's go. All right, Silesh. So make sure you're there in the morning as soon as you can. That live room is basically open. Well, I mean, this blue chat room, there might be some confusion here. The blue chat room, what you're seeing now, the main chat room, right? This is what I call the legacy chat room because it's the first one, it's the original one, right? So this chat room is open 24/7. It never closes. Why? Because, well, we have people from all over the world and, it doesn't matter the time. Look at this. You can see it right there. There's 119 people right now in this chat room. What are they doing? I don't know. They're looking, I'm assuming, I think they're looking at all the data, just kind of going through what happened in the day, the conversations. And I do know that there are several people that, for example, they're not trading, but they are learning from the conversation, right? It's very interesting that when you're starting out to trade, some people learn better when they're actually in a room where they can see it, they can look at people, they can see people talking about it, right? And they can make assessments about all these things, right? So things start clicking and you get those aha moments, right? They're going to happen more and more often. But this is what you need. You need to be around good traders that know what they're doing, that are trading responsibly, that trade as a community, right? You don't want to be in these Reddit, Wall Street Bets, chat rooms that are full of bots and fake accounts just trying to pump a meme stock or pump a penny stock, right? You definitely don't want to have that kind of community around you. That's just not going to help you. So everybody in this chat room, number one, is a real person. It's a real human being, right? And they're all serious about their trading. Everybody in this chat room is a paying user, every single body, okay? So what I would say is just don't try to wing it, right? I mean, look, you can join at any point, you can join in a month, 2 months, but when you're trading, you can make, I mean, all it takes is 2-3 bad trades on a row, and then your account is just, hurt a lot. And I don't know just how much pain people are willing to take until they finally put their ego aside and say, you know what, like I need an options professional to help me. I tried to wing it. It didn't work. I've talked about 9,000 or more of you guys from all over the world. And I'm telling you, just put the ego aside, get an instructor, somebody like Nick, and not just the instructor, but get a program that works, like that has those features. Like, for example, there's no other place out there, for sure, I promise you, that has somebody 9 to 5 the whole day with you. There's nobody that does that. I'm sorry, folks, but when it comes to Nick Shaheen, I've seen him. I've known him for years. He's fully dedicated. This is his wife. Benzinga is Nick Shaheen's wife, okay? And he's there even on weekdays, weekends, even on weekends, I see him answering. Asarian, yeah, so there is an annual Asarian, and there's also a lifetime. And the lifetime's a one-time payment. And yes, this is going to cover you basically with everything we're going over. 20 email trade alerts a month. The live room, which is 5 to 10 trade alerts a day. The Sunday session, which is 150 to 200 stock review every Sunday from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern. Total you're there like 60 plus hours a week, paying pennies on the dollar for this man's time to help you, right? From beginning, holding your hand, full max. I mean, this is really what it is. So in this case, from what I see here, the progress that I've seen here in many of these users, I'm very confident to say that we are building the largest community of educated options retail traders in the world. I'm serious about that. And I would love it if you guys would be part of it, because it's great. At one point, we will cap it. But at this point, we're doing, it's fine. Everybody, we still have open enrollment. But I'm telling you, this is a great community. You do want to be part of this. We always make it fun. We do these sessions for you guys where you can come and hang out. You're always there with Nick as well. And we're trading during market events. We're trading during volatility events. And we're able to work with people from all walks of life, right? As far as like, if you're trying to trade actively, right? Or maybe you have a full-time job and you want these more passive trades, right? Like the daily iron condor that we do, it yields 25%, costs $400 to put it. Like you can make one of those trades a week, or you can make 2 a week, or you can even ask Nick to pretty much set that iron condor to expire maybe 1 week from now instead of expiring in that day, right? So it all goes with your schedule as well. This is not a one size fits all. But Nick, he's able to give you custom trades. So if you have a certain account size, if you have a certain financial goal that you want to reach, some people won't come in saying, I want to make, 10 grand a day. And the account just doesn't make sense unless you're trying to, gamble it all in one trade, which we don't want you to do that, right? We're not encouraging irresponsible trading. We're not encouraging gambling. We encourage responsible trading. among all the traders, all our members, right? And that's why we want everybody to succeed. My goal is for you to make a lot of money in this chat room. I want you to be successful, to do very well, learn as much as you can, take that information, become a better trader. It's a process. It's not like a 1 year and, you know, set it and forget it. You're always going to be improving, learning from other people, other traders. That's another great thing you got there from the chat. So yeah, folks, I think that's it. You know, Nick is a real guy. He's not one of these TikTok kids or you know, YouTubers. He's really just he's focused on options. That's what he does. So yeah, that's what I would say, folks. Make sure to take advantage of this while it's there till midnight. The discount is applied in the checkout. This is a full year trading course, full year education course, mentorship, technical analysis course, sector analysis. There's so much that goes into this particular session. Calling it the options chat room is just, you know, it's it does it a disservice maybe because we do so much there. Obviously, we're trading options every day, but there's a lot of things that are discussed there, like reading charts. What is the language of the charts? What are the markets saying? How do you trade that, right? How do you understand that? So, all right, folks, that does it. Asarian, it's more focused on day trading. Not really. It's not focused on day trading, but we have day traders there that take advantage of that. So Nick is like, you know, it's like a Chinese buffet. They got everything there, right? So if you like chicken wings, they got chicken wings. If you like noodles, they got noodles. Whatever you want, Nick will give it to you. What does that mean in trading terms? If you're day trading stocks, he can help you that. If you're swinging stocks, you can do that. If you like doing spreads or iron condors, he can do that, right? So it just depends what you like to do as a trader, and obviously what you're allowed to do, right? As an example, if you're working, there's different cases, you know, but there's this one person that I signed up in the chat room, and he's like, I think he's like a corrections officer or something like that. So he doesn't have access to his phone for a certain amount of time. So there are certain trades, certain trades that would fit somebody in that particular situation. But if you have let's say a regular 9 to 5, right? There are certain trades that that Nick can give you that are going to pretty much go with your schedule, because if you are working full-time 9 to 5 and you're pretty busy and tied up, it makes no sense for you to day trade unless you want to lose money. So that's really why again, it's not a one size fits all, and it's not a cookie cutter approach. This is more of working with you individually as a retail trader, trying to find what would be the best path for you to be successful as a trader in these markets. So big shout out to everybody that was here. If you have a question, put it now before we wrap it up. We got Nancy in the house. Good to see you there. How's Vegas? And let's make sure that everybody's good to go. Doc, again, thank you for everything. I think we're going to wrap it up here, folks. If you have questions, you know where to reach out. You know what the deal is. Thanks a lot for being here, participating, your attendance, for taking matters into your own hands, into becoming a better trader. And if you do want to learn with Nick Shaheen, you know what to do. The chat it's all in the chat, the link, the email, whatever questions you got. Big shout out to you guys. Happy trading. Have a safe week. And we'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. All right, folks. Thanks a lot and stay safe out there. All right.